Hello and welcome to Women of Money on Money FM Business Radio 93.7 FM. Today, as usual, I'm so excited. I'm glad that we're here once again. Today, our quote is coming from Angela Bassett, and it's saying, "Don't settle for average. Bring your best to the moment. Then whether it fails or succeeds, at least you know you gave it all you had. We need to live the best that's in us." I'll be back shortly to introduce the guest and the topic for today.
This is Women of Money with your host, Nkhonde Fumbeshi.
Right. Many of us have asked the questions, what would you be given a chance? And very few of us have a lot of answers, but very few of us really put it in practice. Have you ever asked yourself a question, what you would be given limitless, given that there's no limitation, nothing financial-wise, career-wise, no limit? What would you be? Today we are looking at passion undefined and redefined, actually, passion redefined. And I have a great guest in studio who is Kim Otteby. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
Yeah, no, great. Kim Otteby. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So Kim is Umoyo Chief Executive Officer and founder. And today we are very excited that we're talking about something that she is passionate about. Kim, thank you so much for coming into studio.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
All right. So just before we begin, we want to give our audience, our viewers online and also our listeners, just a feel of who Kim is. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? How was your childhood? And your education, of course.
Yeah, no, great. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I'm so excited to be here. I'm originally from Sweden, but I came to Zambia when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Yes. So I grew up in Africa, and this is home for me. And I feel so blessed every day to call this beautiful country my home, truly. And of course, I went to university. I went to university abroad, though. I did a degree, a master's in economics and management from Oxford University.
Okay.
Yeah, and I worked
That's fantastic.
And I worked as a strategy consultant in London for a few years before coming back to Zambia. And that's when I started Umoyo Natural Health. That was back in 2007. So we've been going a long, long time. And we started as a little health clinic. And this was born purely out of passion, helping people overcome illnesses, particularly chronic illnesses that are related to what you eat and how you live, stuff like hypertension and diabetes and obesity. This is what we were helping people to overcome. And we did some incredible work, and I was very, very passionate about helping people. But at that time in Zambia, we got people onto these healthier lifestyles, but then we didn't have quality natural health products to support them. Because Zambia at the time was completely different. It's not what it is today, you know. At the time, there were only two malls. You had Manda Hill and you had Arcade.
The old Manda Hill, right?
Yes, the old Manda Hill as well. And so I thought, well, why can't I bring in some of these quality health products to support my clients on their healthy journeys? And that's what I did. And I was just walking at Arcades one day and I saw an empty shop. And I thought, let me go to management and see if they would take a chance on me. Because this is before anyone who knows who I am or knows Umoyo, you know.
Exactly.
And they said, sure. So I took on that shop. That was our first health shop at Arcades. It's the same shop we have today. And I mean, I painted those walls. I went down to Garden Compound to get the shelving, and those shelves are still there. And that's how we started. So we ran the clinic and that first health shop for many years. And that was like building our foundation. And then over time, we got to a point where we opened another health shop. And then we opened another, and then another. And now we have 9 physical health shops. And we have, thank
Congratulations.
you.
Well done, you're doing amazing.
And we have also our online shop. So wherever you are in Zambia, you can order online. And now even wherever you are in the world, you can order from our online Umoyo shop, which is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And not taking so much time on that, but are these products manufactured locally?
Yeah, so great, because that's a very good point. So in the beginning, there were hardly any health products manufactured locally. And that's why we started importing. And we were importing a lot. Whatever we could buy locally, we did. But the rest was imported. But that business has changed. More people are making now healthy foods and drinks and cosmetics. We're getting natural cosmetics now being made here locally. And we stock those. Anything that you can get locally, we pretty much stock. But what's so exciting with Umoyo's journey is that we have also transformed ourselves into becoming manufacturers. So about 3 years ago, we started on this, buying locally sourced raw materials from small-scale farmers, adding value, so making really beautiful, natural, quality health products, and selling them now, not just in our health shops, but to a much wider audience, so in all the retail supermarkets and beyond. So for us, this is really so exciting, and where the future of Umoyo is.
I like it. Where did you grow up? Here in Lusaka, on the Copper Belt? I mean, where did you grow up?
So it was Lusaka, back in the 80s, 1980. And then my parents moved also to Uganda, and I was very young, so of course I came with them. So I spent also a lot of time in Uganda, and then eventually they moved back here. But at that time, I was kind of, I had gotten to my tertiary education, you know, so yeah.
Okay, so Kim, today we are talking about you. We are talking about Passion Redefined because of all the great work that you have done. So just wanting to understand quite a few things. Like I said, we're talking about passion. So passion is being willing to suffer, right? To suffer for what you love. However, today we're looking at Passion Redefined. What does it really mean to you?
Yeah. Passion for me, it points you in the direction, I believe, of what your purpose is. That is what passion is, you know? And when you're pointed in the direction of what your purpose is, because I believe also that we are all unique, we're all special. We have all been put on this earth for a reason. We are here for a reason. And discovering our purpose is discovering that reason. And that is really where we can grow, expand, contribute, gain fulfillment in our lives if we pursue our purpose. And the passion is really like a direction of, you should probably try going down this direction, because God doesn't want you to do something you hate, right? If you want to excel at something, you got to love it. You got to love what you do, because that passion is what ignites that fire inside you, gives you that energy, that drive to move forward, because it ain't going to be easy all the time.
No, it's not.
But if you have that passion, when you hit one of those speed bumps, it helps you to move forward rather than just giving up. That's how I see it. But passion, it points you in the direction of your purpose, why you were put on this earth.
Now, Kim, when we began, we've been looking at what you do and really how you've grown as Umoyo. So of the two, I know I have two. One is a passion, I have two professions. So one is a passion, one is a business, and I just leave it to people just to see which one is a passion and which one is business. When we come to you, which one is your passion and which one is a profession?
Oh. Well, I have been fortunate enough and courageous enough to combine the two. Yeah. And I know how fortunate, and I'm so grateful every day that I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
But it didn't start off like that. As I mentioned to you, I started as a strategy consultant in London, and this was not my calling, but it took me a while to figure that out. And you know, when we're young, we have to try different things, because otherwise, how do you know? If you don't know what you don't like, how will you figure out what you do like? So it's part of the process. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to find that passion.
So a lot of us, so everyone has that one thing that they are passionate about. So this is irrespective of the age, irrespective of their social status, their literacy levels. But what distinguishes each one of us is the decision we make at the end of it all. You've said you didn't start like that. You got to discover that after you tried on so many things. So what are the indicators that this is that thing that you're passionate about? And how can you do that?
You have to go within. Nobody can tell you what your passion is, right? Nobody can do that for you. That means that you have to quiet your mind and go within and feel what it is. Deep down, you have all the answers. You have all the answers that you need. But a lot of the time, we are so caught out with the world, the external world, and all the things that we have to do, and all our worries and everything going on out here, so we forget to reconnect with what's going on the inside. So really, for you to discover what your passion is, it means going in, quieting your mind so you can go in and feel. And it will be intuitive. You know, it will, the universe, God will nudge you in the right direction. Have you explored this? You might want to explore this, you know? And then it's up to you to take that journey.
And listen.
Yeah, and listen. And maybe it wasn't for you, but maybe you needed to experience that in order to move in a different direction or learn something that would help you further on your path. To give an example, before I studied nutrition, I went back to university and studied nutritional medicine. I got BSc in that. I took half a year because I was trying to figure out my life. What was it I wanted to do? What is it I'm passionate about? And I went to university and studied half a year at London School of Printing, which was design. And yes, I didn't become a designer. I didn't go into anything like that. But I studied things like typography, layout, and all of this has helped me build the Umoyo brand. It wasn't wasted time. It wasn't part of my end goal, my real passion, but it has helped me on my journey. But I didn't know it then. But it's always when you go back, you can connect those dots. You know?
I love that. I love that. Kim, you spoke about discovering your passion as you go on. I'm just going to push it a little further, that some people are fortunate that their passion really takes them to having the income. So I might be passionate about something, but that will not really bring me the income that I really need. So there could be people out there that love one thing, but that one thing cannot sustain them. What would be your advice to that person?
It's a great question. 100%. Passion isn't enough.
Yeah.
Passion is not enough. So it starts with passion. I think passion is an essential ingredient if you want success in business or whatever, career, whatever it is you're going to do. But it's not enough. So it starts with a passion, what you love. But then it's, what are you good at?
Yeah.
You have to look at that as well. What are your talents? What are your skills? Those can be developed.
Yeah.
And for me, that is what happened. The passion drove that development of my skills. It led me in the beginning to go back and study nutritional medicine. It led me to do internships at some of the top nutritional institutions in the world, to read all the books I could come across. I would just devour the knowledge because I was passionate. So I was able to develop skills within those areas. So my passion drove that skill. But then the third element is, what does the market want?
Yeah.
What is the market willing to pay you for? So you have passion, what do you love? Skill, what are you good at? And then the third element is, what is someone willing to pay you? Is there a market for what you want to do? Yes. And for you to really succeed, you got to hit all those boxes. So to give you an example, I'm passionate about golf. I love golf. I've just started taking it up a couple of years ago, but it's really fun. I'm getting into it, you know. I'm watching YouTube videos and trying to improve my swing and everything. And there is a market for it. You know, Tiger Woods, he got offered, I don't know, like $200 million to play at the LIV tournament. There is a market. People will pay you to play golf.
Yeah.
Now, am I good at it? Do I have the skill? That's where I'm lacking, you know? And because I don't have that skill, I only started 2 years ago. I should have really started when I was 3 years old, you know, if I wanted to pursue this. So that passion of mine is not something I would pursue in order to make money, but I can still pursue it as a hobby, as a recreational thing, right? So you got to hit all boxes.
Now, just as a follow-up, a whole lot of people, especially the younger people, even the older people, are doing things that they don't like up to now. Are there any limitations in pursuing passion?
Yeah, so the way I look at it is that, you know, some people, and I was one of them, I would say, you know, I can't work with nutrition. You can't make money off that. And this is when I'm sitting in my corporate job, you know, like looking at that, that's impossible. But we limit ourselves through our thoughts, our beliefs, and we don't even realize it. The only limiting factor is your own beliefs. It's kind of, I love the analogy of, it's like a fish in water. A fish doesn't know it's swimming in water because it's all it's known. It's the same for us with our beliefs. We're always swimming in these beliefs, and we think the same beliefs again and again and again. So we believe now in our core that this is the truth. This is the ultimate truth. This is reality. But that might not actually be the case. So it starts with questioning your beliefs, the limitations that perhaps you have put on yourself through your upbringing, through what society told you, through what you've been telling yourself and reinforcing, you know. So I would always start there. Start question, because the only way you're going to change some of those limiting beliefs and overcome them is by starting to question them. A belief that you never question will never change.
Now, I like the fact that you've brought in the aspect of mindset change, right? So there are certain times that certain things that you feel you're passionate about, at the end of the day, they don't really seem realistic. A whole lot of people around you are telling you how impossible and how you cannot do it. So how do you deal with that? Do you just abandon the whole thing or try to change direction to figure out which direction you can go? How do you deal with that? You've experienced this.
Yeah, I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, passion points you in the direction of where your purpose is. Now, when you align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions with your true self, with your purpose, with your higher self, with your soul, that is when you step into your authentic power, you know? But that is, you know, only you know where that is. But that is where your power is. Now, when people then perhaps pass negative comments or don't see the vision, don't believe it's possible, they are seeing it from their experience. They might be limited by their beliefs or what they see in the world. Maybe they had some experiences that have caused them to think, no, that's not possible. But they are not you. They do not know what your purpose on this earth is or what your passion. Nobody can really know that except you within yourself with that intuition that's moving you forward, right? So it's having the courage. It goes back to having that courage to know who you are and have that faith and belief in yourself that what you've set out to do, you can do it. But that also, what I found with myself, takes time to develop. You know, when you're a teenager, early 20s, you often don't have that confidence. You don't really know who you are. You're still exploring, so it can be tough, you know. But you have to have that self-belief and then that foundational self-worth and knowledge of who you are and your purpose in life.
Kim, if you're just joining us, we are on Women at Money on Money FM Business Radio. And today we're looking at Passion Redefined. We have Kim, the Chief Executive Officer of Umoyo, and also the founder of Umoyo. So Kim, I love the direction that this interview is going, and you spoke about courage. So courage is having the ability to do things. There's this common saying that fear is not fatal, and in whatever someone gets on to pursue, there's that element of fear to fail. Mm-hmm. Right. So, what do you do when your passion fails? Because some of these things are inevitable. You may not fail. You may succeed.
Or you'll probably fail, and you'll probably fail again. Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And failure. Failure is part of the process. It will always be there. If you're not failing, it means you're not trying. You're not out there in an arena, as they say. Then you're just on the sidelines looking in. The person who never fails is not really putting themselves out there. You need to put yourself out there. You need to push through your comfort zone, challenge yourself. That is how you grow. And when you fail, each failure is something, you learn something. It's only failure really if you don't learn anything. So after you have failed at something, it's just looking at it, well, why did it go wrong? Yeah. What can I do better? What did I learn from it? And then it will add to your skills and help move you forward. It is part of the process. But yes, it is scary because a lot of people define themselves with that failure. They say, well, I failed at that, hence I'm a failure. No, you just failed at that. You're not a failure. You need to be able to distance yourself from it and not define yourself. But of course, if you define yourself with that failure, you're going to avoid any new circumstance where there is any possibility to fail because we don't want to feel like a failure. So we have to change our mindset there where we have the courage to fail and know that that is how we grow. It's the only way we can grow.
Yeah, it's the only way we can grow. Having the courage to face fear, having the courage to just go on regardless of what the result would be. I mean, how would you know? You would have done it if you don't try, right? Yeah. So Kim, you are on this moment, on this journey of the pursuit for your passion. What are some of the lessons that you have learned, some of the rewarding lessons that you have learned throughout the journey that have made you who you are today?
Well, the first one is passion is not enough. And just because you are passionate about something doesn't mean it's going to be easy. There are going to be so many challenges along the way. That is just part of it. But that is also, once again, what makes you grow, what makes you expand. And it's at the end of the day, it is always all about the journey. Because what I've noticed for me is when I hit a goal, I'm like, oh, great. But now I want to be somewhere, I want to be further ahead. I want to climb the next mountain. So it's all about the journey and the challenges that we face. And it's going to be tough, but it's who we become in the process. But when you're passionate about it, it adds a level of meaning to it. It makes it more enjoyable along the way. You're not suffering along the way. It's challenging, but you're not suffering along the way. I've forgotten what your question was.
Okay, so you've had rewarding moments in your pursuit for passion, right? And what are some of the lessons that you have learned?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
about yourself, really, just yourself. This is something that you have learned throughout your journey in the pursuit for happiness. Pursuit for happiness. Yeah, your pursuit for passion. You've gone through this journey, and I'm sure there's one or two things that you can point at. You did point out that passion is not enough. That is something that you learned either the hard way or the easy way, but you learned that passion is not enough, right? Yeah,
passion is not enough. Another thing I learned, and we discussed it before we started rolling, is that I am the limiting factor. In my life, I'm the limiting factor. In my business, I'm the limiting factor as the owner in terms of my psychology, my mindset. And that was a big lesson for me. Because in the past, I would blame everyone else or all the circumstances, but it wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. I mean, because we have a blind spot there. So that has been a huge lesson, and because of that now, I work every single day to make sure I am becoming better. I'm becoming better in terms of becoming more aware of my limiting beliefs. I'm becoming better as a leader, being able to motivate and inspire the teams at Umoyo so that they can, because they are the ones who are going to move us forward, you know. So every day I try and improve something. It doesn't have to be a lot, but at the end of the day, I want to be able to say to myself, yeah, you did good. You moved forward a step, you know?
Just following up on what you just said. Before we came on air, you were talking about you getting on training, being a coach, and also just trying to share your lessons through the business throughout you told me now the business has grown into manufacturing. So we are on a business radio, and we have people out there that may be listening. They are trying to grow a business from one level to the other. They are trying to grow their passion. What are some of the things that you practically put in place to just ensure that you move from point A to where you are today?
Ooh, it's not an easy transition. Going from like a very small scale business to that medium size, there are a lot of growing pains. Ooh, yeah. And it takes time to get all of that right, you know, because there is a process also of trial and error. But in order for you to go from an operator where you are having to be in the business 24/7 to being an owner, that's a big step. That's a really big step. And that requires, firstly, putting systems in place so that things run without you. You know, there is a protocol on how we do it, standard operating procedures at Umoyo. We have that for absolutely everything now, you know, and they're followed and they are checked. You know, you can have them, but if they're not checked, then, you know, what's the point? Then what I hinted on before is you have to build solid teams, because you cannot grow the business on your own. You need solid teams of people who are also, they buy into the passion, they buy into the vision of the company, and they want to be part of that. That is absolutely key. So one of the things I'm doing with Umoyo, and one of the things I feel is my task now, is to lead these teams, these incredible people that we have at Umoyo, so we are moving in the same direction. And that generates a lot of momentum towards our vision, towards our goals. But that is mainly what I'm doing, to inspire and to build these teams and to make sure that we're moving in the same direction.
All right. So our phone lines are open. You can get us on... Well, I'm always looking for that number, Kim. Yeah, but I guess I'll find it. But you can get us. You can join us on 07716162290. If you want to get in touch with us, just leave us a comment, even just showing that you really care for us. We have Kim in studio, and we're so excited. We're talking about passion redefined. Kim, there are so many ideas, misconceptions that come with the pursuit of passion. Right, and one of them that you just have brought out so many times is that passion is not enough. Is there any other misconception that you'd like to stress out and say, look, you may have the passion, but it may not be enough because you will need this, you will need that. Is there anything that you'd like to just stress highly?
Maybe just to reiterate as well that passion doesn't mean that you're going to love every hour of your work. Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
She knows what I'm talking about here. You're going to have to do a lot of things that perhaps aren't quite in your wheelhouse or that you don't enjoy so much. If you're running a business, I'm talking particularly from that perspective, running a business. It's just part of it, you know. Especially when you're small and starting off, you're going to have to take on most of those roles, you know. As you grow as a business, then you will hire people who are experts in each field and who actually are passionate about those things. I don't really have a lot of passion for accounting, you know, but there are people who do, you know. There are people, and those are the people then you hire for your accounting department. And so it goes, you know. So, but just be aware that it's not going to just be a bed of roses. There are going to be some, you know, you're going to have some grit, skin in the game, as they say, you know. It's not always going to be easy. If you expect it to be easy, you're in for a shock. You're really in for a shock. And good things take time to develop as well. I think in this day and age, people with this, what they call the Instagram world, you know, the social media, people expect instantaneous fame and fortune. And, you know, when you're building something solid, it does take time. And you have to give yourself that permission as well for it to take some time, for it to evolve.
Yeah. I like what you've brought in, that you things are not just instantaneous, right? And you have a lot of people that are looking at you, a lot of people that admire where you are now. There could be a man, a young man, a young woman trying to just pursue their passion, but they have doubts within them. What would be a word of encouragement?
Yeah. Doubts are always going to be there. Doubts are always going to be there. I think it's just part of being human, to be honest, you know. But it's when you know inside what you're meant to do, what your purpose is, those doubts can come, and then it's your job to address them and say, you know what, I'm not this thought. That's one thing, to distance yourself from, you're not your thoughts, you know, and those negative thoughts are going to come. You know what it is? It is our brain trying to protect us. It is our brain trying to keep us within our comfort zone, because our comfort zone is safe. Our brain is only interested in our survival. It is not interested in you going out and living your best life or building that business, because that means stepping out of your comfort zone. So that's where those doubts come. That's where those fears come. But then it's up to you first to recognize, okay, I'm having these doubts, I'm having these fears. It means I'm about to step out of my comfort zone. I know what my vision is. I know what my purpose is and where I'm moving towards. And it's going to be scary. And there will be doubts. But I also know this is what I'm on the correct path. And that's really what it is, you know. It's helping, it's recognizing that it's part of your growth, and it's you stepping out of your comfort zone, which you got to do. There's no way around it. You have to face those fears. You have to face those doubts. They're not going to go away. They never go away, because as you expand your comfort zone, you've gone into a new level now, and then it's time to get to the next comfort zone, and that means new fears, new doubts. So, yeah.
All right, so Kim, I don't want to end here. I don't want to go with the cards yet, but my producer says I should. Right. I'm going to have to ask you to pick the cards, but not just yet. You were on a path to start something, and you're here. And I asked the question that a lot of people would admire where you are now, but not really appreciate the process, right? There could be that one person also saying, look, Kim, I'm sure you would have had the finances. It would have been easy for you to just get to where you are. So what do I do when people around me are not there to support the passion that I have? What do I do?
Yeah, you know, we make all sorts of assumptions about people, why it was easier for them, and, oh, they had the resources, or they had the opportunities, or whatever it is. And what those are excuses. They are excuses. It is, we are trying to protect our ego, like, oh, they made it, but the reason I haven't made it yet is because of this, and this.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
So it's excuses that you're giving yourself for not trying, for fear of failure, perhaps. There might be other underlying fears, you know? So that is one thing that people just have to be a little bit mindful of sometimes, you know? What was the question again? Sorry. Sorry, I need to write down these questions.
Oh, yeah. So as people just think you've had it easy.
Oh, okay.
So there could be that one person who's saying, look, you've had it easy. What do I do if I don't have the support? I don't have the resources around me. Do I just drop down my passion and move on with whatever I'm doing? How do I really go back if I drop it? How do I, just pursue my passion?
Yeah. Well, firstly, it always looks easy from the outside. I've had my challenges. We are all on our journey. Every journey is unique. That's one thing. And also not comparing yourself. Because our journeys are unique and we are at different points of our journey. For someone starting off, they should not be comparing themselves to someone who's been in business for 15 years. I mean, that's not a fair comparison, you know? So stop comparing yourself, because it could be that who you're comparing yourself with might be further along in certain areas of their life, where you're comparing and feeling less than, but perhaps you are further along in other areas of your life. You know, and this goes back to, we're all on our unique individual journeys.
Yeah, and while we're on that, what are some of the challenges that really you could point at?
Well,
And how
building
did
a
you
business.
How did you overcome them?
Well, I mean, you resources was huge. Money was huge.
It's always a challenge for everyone, Kim.
I know.
Yeah.
I started
Wow.
from a little, from my, I was still living with my parents, and then I rented a little flat. There were no real resources there. I started small, and I've grown it over time. There was no big investment. Every little cent that we earned was put back into the business, and then put back into the business. And we have grown organically over time. It is only now, for the first time in 15 years since our existence, since we were founded, that we are taking on debt financing in order to build, in order to expand. We weren't able to do that because we didn't have collateral. It's taken time, so people assume that there were tons of resources. There weren't. It has been, you use the word suffering, there has been a lot of suffering also in terms of not gaining personal wealth, but rather investing it back into the business, because I had this vision of, this is what I want to do, so yeah. Also, I will say two things. When you think you don't have the resources, whatever, often it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. And it starts up here with your psychology, with your mindset. If you don't believe you have the resources, you won't even look for them. If you already have made a decision about, oh, that doesn't work because of this, this, and this, when those opportunities come, you will not even see it, because you are already blinded to it. So once again, I'm going to bring it back to our mindset and what we believe is possible and what we believe is not possible.
Fantastic. One thing that has really, really come out, and one thing that is a limiting factor when it comes to just setting up a business or getting onto your passion, is the idea of starting small. And I like the fact that you have outlined that and said, look, we started from somewhere. We were able to put out little bits of resources back into the business. It wasn't just about using the resources on you, but there has to be, my thinking is there has to be some sacrifice, even if you didn't specifically mention it. There has to be some sacrifice that you actually put out for you to get to where you want to be, right?
Yes, and the biggest sacrifice that you'll never get back is your time.
Oh, yes.
That's the biggest one. We don't often factor that in, but the amount of time that we sacrifice on our working lives. Yeah. And that's another reason why I believe it's important to do something that you love. Yeah. Because it's the majority of your life,
Fantastic. I love this. Now, Kim, as we end the program, I have 4 cards.
Okay.
And I want you to pick 2.
I gotta pick 2, okay?
Yes.
One at a time.
Yes. One at a time.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll take that one.
Okay. And these 2 have little questions. The first question is, wow, a song you never stop singing.
A song I never stop singing, like a real song.
Yes. And give us a sample.
Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. I don't know if I could do that, but a song that I absolutely love, and I don't think I can sing it, but is it's called Jericho. Do you know it? No. Anyway, you'll have to search for it, and I think her name, the singer is called, I think her name is Nkhonde, but I can sing it in my head, but I'm not sure I can sing.
No, let's hear you.
No, I can't.
Come on.
If you prepared me for this, I would have prepared. No, Google it. But it's a beautiful song, and it often comes up in my head. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Okay. What most people get wrongly about you on first glance?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. What I don't know, actually. Maybe, perhaps, I could just say, and this is true for everyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people meet me, and maybe I've done a talk and I've come across very confident, but just like any human being, I have my fears. I have my demons that I need to overcome, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that is something that I'm learning as well, that we all have our challenges in life, and everyone that we meet, it really is to have compassion, to be kind, because you don't know what the other person is going through.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that is a big thing. People just think, oh, she's married, she probably has lots of money and everything's going well and la 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 la. But often that is not the case, you know. We also put a facade to I try not to. I try and be as authentic, as genuine as I can, but we often also project, you know, on other people. So I think that is one thing, you know, and to extend that to compassion and kindness to everyone you meet. Actually, this month at Umoyo, we're running a challenge. It's a beautiful challenge. It's called the Be Kind Challenge.
I love
and
that.
every day we put out something. It could be just maybe compliment someone today, or maybe buy someone a cup of tea today, you know, or give your pet some extra love today, you know.
So what's on today?
That is a great question. I would have to check. I haven't checked this morning. But we have there's a Facebook group. It's called Live Your Best Life with Umoyo, and there's a WhatsApp group. And last month the challenge was no sugar. And we were supporting each other in this time, because it's Christmas and it's a time of giving and
Treats,
generosity. That is why we've chosen to do this Be Kind challenge now. So yeah, if people are interested, join.
Okay, that's fantastic. I don't do sugar. I
Oh,
don't even
well done.
remember for how long I've stopped doing sugar.
You're very
But, yeah.
unique with that, because most people are highly addicted.
To sugar.
Yeah, including myself.
All right. This has been a fantastic conversation. I just love it, and I wish we could just go on and on and on. But we have to say our goodbyes. Your last words.
Last words, I would say, once going back to the theme that we were talking about, you know, once you know what it is you were put on this earth to do, you just got to take that leap. You got to take that leap. You don't have to know how you're going to do it. That is for the universe to figure out. That is for God to figure out. They have a plan for you, you know. You just have to have the courage to take that leap and then grow your wings on the way down.
Thank you. That is so powerful. And I just feel led to just follow it up with a verse, because Kim said, God knows your plan. And Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, I know the plans I have for you, and these are plans to prosper you. So just go on that passion. Passion Redefined was what we're talking about today. And we had Kim Otteby in studio, who is the Umoyo co-founder and Umoyo founder. Did I just say you co-founder?
Yeah, I know.
Umoyo founder and Chief Executive Officer. So Kim, this has been a fantastic conversation. I just love it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. It's been delightful. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. So thank you.
All right, so until next time, it's bye-bye for now. See you on the other side.